Why he won't date you seriously. So you've met a guy. This guy is fantastic. You are starting to imagine wonderful things about this guy, and you let these ideas slip through your communication with this guy. You even start to imagine that this guy could be the one, but then you realize that he doesn't like you in that way, and that breaks your heart. You might even start to doubt your ability to ever find somebody. You might even write off the entire male population as being deceptive, short-sighted, and absolutely unable to commit. First, why does this happen? One of the main reasons is based on how men see the world, particularly the dating world. This is based on extensive research by author David Buss and his extremely popular book, The Evolution of Desire. It's a fantastic book about human nature and how we self-aware monkey people think about things like sex and dating and relationships. And for this video, the main takeaway is very important. When guys look out into the dating world, we instantly separate things into two categories. Guys immediately and subconsciously separate every single girl they meet into these two different categories: Miss Right and Miss Right Now. According to Buss, as he showed in his book, guys have two completely different sets of criteria for long-term relationships and short-term relationships. So if you're interested in a guy and he suspects that you want a long-term relationship, but he decides to suddenly nope out, now you know why. As harsh and unfriendly as this sounds, he only sees you in the short-term relationship category. And as soon as somebody puts you in the short-term relationship category in their mind, it is impossible to get out of that category. It's somewhat similar in structure to guys getting put into the friend zone. Once a guy gets put into the friend zone, it's nearly impossible to get out of the friend zone. Similarly, as a woman, once you get put into the short-term category in his mind, it is almost impossible to get out of the short-term relationship category. So what do? There's one thing that many women do early in the relationship that essentially cements their status in the short-term relationship category in the guy's mind, and that is sex. This is where it gets kind of confusing. A lot of happy couples get intimate relatively early, and a lot of those happy couples live happily ever after. But consider this idea. If you like a guy, if you are attracted to a guy, chances are a lot of other ladies either find him or could find him equally attractive. And if you had sex with him early in the relationship, there's a high probability that he's experienced that with other ladies as well. So not only are you in the short-term category of his mind, but if you start to ask or suggest a long-term commitment, he's got to compare that choice to all the other ladies he could have short-term sexual relationships with. And this huge comparison essentially guarantees that he won't want a long-term relationship with you. And there are two basic strategies to deal with this common modern dating dynamic. One is to just keep looking. Just keep meeting guys, and hopefully you'll find one that will want a long-term relationship with you. Keep doing what you're doing. But this is very dangerous, because every time you catch feelings for a guy and you start to think of him in terms of a long-term relationship, but he only likes you for a short-term relationship, that is very painful. That does damage to your soul. Every time you go through that process, it makes it harder and harder to actually have a healthy relationship with somebody. Another option is to just bail out of the dating market altogether. This is what a lot of men are doing. This is the whole reason for the MGTOW movement, or men going their own way. You could do that, but that's a pretty lonely life. Or you could try a third alternative. That way you can stay in the game and keep meeting guys until you hopefully meet somebody that qualifies and wants a long-term relationship with you. But, and this is a big but, stop having sex. Don't have sex with the guy until you're reasonably sure that he's long-term relationship potential. If you wait at least a few dates before having sex with a guy, that will weed out all the guys that are only interested in short-term relationships. Be upfront with him about this before you have a chance to develop feelings. Just say something like this on the first date. Hey, I just wanted to let you know it takes me a little while to feel comfortable enough with somebody before I decide to have sex with them. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're after, but I would like to take time to slowly get to know each other. If you are on the same page, fantastic. Maybe we'll click with each other, maybe not. But if you're really only after a short-term relationship, let's just be honest with each other and not waste each other's time. That way we can both go after what we're actually looking for. What do you think? What do you want to do? You can play around with this and think of your own way to say this. If you get this out there before your emotions get involved, you can still sort through plenty of guys without risking any kind of emotional damage. Stand your ground, know your value, and don't settle for less. This may be a bit more time-consuming than you may have hoped, but this is the world we live in today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. To learn more, please visit mindpersuasion.com.